say.
I wish to express my great appreciation to the people of Smithfield who elected me to represent them with an overwhelming 20.3 swing on the 26th of March 2011. Yeah. I know that many of them voted Liberal for the first time in their lives. I thank them for putting their faith in me and the Liberal Party. To them, I make this pledge. I will always put you first. I will dedicate the next 4 years of my term in office to providing to you, my constituents, that your trust in me was well placed. Because for me, first and foremost, politics is about serving people. The state electorate of Smithfield is part of the Greater Western Sydney region and is 135 square kilometers in area. It's a typical working class community. Its boundaries extend from the western M4 motorway in Greystanes to the Elizabeth Drive in Edensor Park and from South Creek in Erskine Park to the Cumberland Highway in Fairfield West. My electorate of Smithfield takes its name from the suburb of Smithfield, which was originally known as Chisholm's Bush. In 1867, Smithfield was a semi-rural settlement populated by vine growers, gardeners, wood timber cutters, orchards, and tanneries. John Ryan Brennan, an attorney, was appointed police magistrate, named it Smithfield, after the meat markets of London and Dublin. Smithfield has become a thriving commercial center, and the once rural township is now a mixture of semi-rural, residential, commercial, and industrial lands. The state electorate of Smithfield is within the boundaries of the Fairfield, Holroyd, Penrith, and Blacktown City Council areas, and comprises of the suburbs of Abbotsbury, Bosley Park, Cecil Park, Eastern Creek, Edensor Park, Erskine Park, Greenfield Park, Greystanes, Horsley Park, Kemps Creek, Mount Vernon, Prairiewood, Prospect, Smithfield, Fairfield West, and Weather Park. Smithfield is a microcosm of multicultural Australia. Almost half of my constituents were born overseas. Almost 60% of my constituents spoke a language other than English at home. In fact, more than 100 different languages are spoken by my constituents in the electorate of Smithfield. I recognize the many Assyrians, Chaldeans, Arabic, Italian, Vietnamese, Mandarin, Croatian, Serbian, and Chinese community leaders here in the public gallery today. I thank you for coming. Yeah. Smithfield is home to many attractions, including Western Sydney Parklands, the Fairfield Showground, and the Eastern Creek Raceway. Smithfield is also well known for its large industrial area. The Smithfield Weather Park Industrial Estate is the largest industrial estate in the Southern Hemisphere and is the hub for manufacturing and distribution of in the Greater Western Sydney region. With over 1,000 manufacturing, wholesale, transport, and service firms providing more than 20,000 jobs, the Smithfield Weather Park Industrial Estate plays a key role within the state's economy. 5 public high schools and 13 primary schools are located in my electorate. As is common with public schools throughout the state of New South Wales, most have suffered greatly over the past 16 years, with an increased workload for teachers, larger class sizes for students, and a blowout in the school maintenance backlog, leaving school teachers with students to work in 19th century conditions. That's why during the election campaign, the now Education Minister, the Honourable Adrian Piccoli, and I met with parents and teachers at William Stephenson Public School in Weather Park to announce that we would inject more than $60 million to the school maintenance funding and restore local decision-making to the school communities. Although there are a number of hospitals relatively close to my electorate, which my constituents would use as the time arises, there's only one hospital within my electorate, and that's Fairfield Hospital in Prairiewood. I was pleased to welcome the Premier and the now Health Minister, the Honourable Barry O'Farrell, and the Honourable Gillian Skinner, to Fairfield Hospital, where they announced that the coalition will deliver 100 more beds and 25 more nurses to the local area health district as part of our More Beds, More Nurses, Real Change Health Plan. It was a great win for patients at Fairfield Hospital and a great win for Sydney South West. My electorate is home to only one police station at Weather Park, and I will certainly be pressing for increased police numbers and more support for the local neighbourhood watch programs. I thank the now Police Minister, the Honourable Michael Gallagher, MLC, for visiting Weather Park Police Station and announcing more funding for police resources in my electorate, as well as more support for Bosley Park Neighbourhood Watch. I take this opportunity to express my appreciation to police officers all over New South Wales, but in particular to the Fairfield Local Command Area under the leadership of Commander Peter Lennon, APN, for their commitment and service to my electorate of Smithfield. On the question of transport, it's quite interesting that the last time the coalition was in government, a substantial allocation was made to complete the overpass on the Cumberland Highway at Fairfield West. And now that the coalition is back in government, we will be delivering the long-awaited and much-needed upgrade of the Paulding Street and Smithfield Road intersection. The intersection under the same overpass in Fairfield West was ignored by Labour Party for the entire 16 years they were in government. Visiting the site with then Shadow Minister for Roads and now Deputy Premier, the Honourable Andrew Stoner, we committed $3 million to this vital project in order to ease traffic congestions in the area. As the honourable members may be aware, this is one of the worst accident spots in Sydney, as identified by the New South Wales Road and Traffic Authority and the NRMA. During the campaign, I said my priority would be to stop the increasing cost of electricity. The greatest threat of the increasing cost of electricity today is the current Prime Minister and the Labour Party's carbon tax. As a geologist, I know that the Earth's climate is constantly changing owing to the natural variability in the Earth's processes. While the geologists tend to be skeptic, a geologist has a much longer perspective. Geologists study the Earth and its history. They realize that the climate has changed often in the past due to natural causes. The Earth's climate naturally varies constantly in both directions and varying rates and on many scales. In recent decades, global temperature have been risen, yet our planet has been far warmer and far cooler than today many times in the past. Labour's carbon tax will hurt local families in my electorate by raising the cost of living even further, and it will hurt industry and investment. I'm opposed to any carbon tax, and I'll continue to campaign against its introduction. The campaign to win Smithfield was not easy. In fact, it was really hard. I was lucky I had a small but dedicated campaign team. Without their help, victory would not have been possible. During the election campaign, we embraced technology, and in particular social media. In fact, the number of fans on my Facebook page is second only to the Premier's Facebook page. We door knocked just under 18,000 homes. We held over 100 street stalls, letterboxed the entire electorate several times, put up hundreds of posters, and called thousands of homes. One day, while door knocking in the suburb of Smithfield in the hot weather of over 40 degrees, I came to a house where a gentleman was sitting under the front veranda. As I began to introduce myself to him, he stood up and said, "You are Mr. Rohan, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am." He then proceeded to tell me that he and his family had been voting Labour for over 40 years, but not anymore. He also said that I was the first ever politician to visit him ever. I was angry about the mismanagement of the state. He was angry about the mismanagement of the state and felt betrayed by the so-called Working Man's Party. I believe this really summed up the feeling of voters right across the electorate, which was reflected by the result we achieved on the election night. I acknowledge and thank our leader, Premier the Honourable Barry O'Farrell, who united our party and paved the way to this coalition's resounding victory on 26th of March. I thank the Deputy Premier, the Honourable Andrew Stoner, and Ministers, the Honourable Gillian Skinner, the Honourable Michael Gallagher, the Honourable Chris Harcher, the Honourable Anthony Roberts, and the Honourable Adrian Piccoli, and the Honourable Brad Hazard, and the Honourable Gladys Berejiklian for visiting my electorate during the election campaign. I thank my campaign team members, Nina Kiwargis, Gabi Kiwargis, Joseph Mirza, Adi Koshaba, Matthew Hanna, Councillor Ross Grove, Doug Kalija, Johan Darius, Vince Ripipi, Stuart Smith, Adrian Pike, Andrew Osman, Elias Shamun, Jamal Elisha, Najah Namrud, Patrick Osman, Dalia Yusuf, Vivian Mirza, Dalia Mirza, Ashi Mikhail, Hedra Munshi, Ross and Robert Candelori, Lujana, Johanna, Karim David, and Jackie Wall, as well as my 120 election day volunteers. All this would not have been possible without their contribution. Special thanks go to the Honourable Anthony Roberts for being so supportive of during my campaign, thus providing me with an army of volunteers from the link of SEC, whom I'm very grateful. I wish to acknowledge the contribution of the young Liberal Flank Squad and their coordinators, Abhishek and Charles Perrottet, as well as the many young Liberal campaigners involved in my campaign. I place on record my sincere thanks to the Liberal Party Secretariat for their individual invaluable expertise, guidance, and role in my success. In particular, our State Director, Mark Neam, our Campaign Director, Penny George, but more generally, all the staff at the Secretariat. I want to acknowledge the support of my parliamentary colleagues who have helped guide and support the local branches in Smithfield area over the years, in particular the Honourable David Clark MLC, the Honourable Marie Ficara MLC, the Honourable Matthew Mason Cox MLC, and the Honourable Senator Conchita Fierravanti Wells. I want to pay a special tribute to the Honourable Charlie Lynn MLC, and especially thank him for his support as a duty MLC for Southwestern Sydney. Without his guidance and assistance, it would have not been possible to win Smithfield. I want to thank Councillor Zaya Toma. He was the maestro of this campaign, and to whom I must credit with a significant part of this victory. As my campaign manager, Zaya demonstrated great leadership, strategic thinking, and vision. Zaya spearheaded the campaign to expose the failures of the Labour Party in the Fairfield area over the last 2 years. This has helped convert the once Labour heartland into Liberal territory. I acknowledge Zaya's parents, Yoni and Benjamin Toma, who are here in the public gallery. I thank my staff, Joseph Adams, Katrina Oliveri, Emmanuel Brica, and Zaya Toma, for their hard work and loyal service to me and to the community at large, thus far and into the future. We have campaigned together for many years in the local area, and it's an incredible honor to finally be in the position to be able to serve the community for all of us. And finally, I congratulate all members on their success of their election in this place. I look forward to working with you over the coming term. Thank you.
Congratulations.
He's going to be helpful. Well done. Great job.